Hi everyone, today is Friday and it's the 19th of March 2021 and we're down here in Corktown, and today's video is probably going to be a fairly short one, maybe about 15-20 minutes I suspect. And I am lucky to have my friend Catherine joining me today. There's Catherine. Hello. And she is joining me on our walk today. And Catherine and I are going to just walk around, and I'm going to be showing you a little bit about what's in the neighborhood. We're down near Eastern Avenue, and we're going to be talking primarily about what's going on here in Eastern Avenue, or on Eastern Avenue rather. But this here is a playground. I think it's called Lauren Harris Playground. It's part of Lauren Harris Square. So it reaches across the street, and you can see all the really cool artwork. And I'm just going to angle the camera up. So that looks pretty cool. Like it's mirror. Hello. And over here on the playground part, it's the cushioned, I don't know what is it? A cushion flooring, I guess. So when kids fall, they don't hurt themselves. So it is a lot softer. And you can see in the background there, I don't know if, I don't have a zoom, but you can see in the background there, there's yet another condo development under construction. And here's some beautiful artwork. I just love this. I really do. A lot of talent in the city. Look at how beautiful that is. That is beautiful. I don't see any artist names. Oh, wait a minute. There is. So it'd be cool to check out those artists and see where else they might be creating their work in the city. Yeah, very cool. And this is, I think, is this the Gardner, Catherine? Above us? Yes. Yeah, so the Gardner is above us. This is the Gardner. So we're just going to be going left down, this is not Trolley Crescent, but Lawrence Street or something. And what I'm angling at, or what I'm pointing at right now, is Eastern Avenue, which is where we're headed towards. Could you just open that up for me? I have some notes, and Catherine's helping me. I can't I can't open up my little notebook here with one hand is occupied. There it is. Thanks, Catherine. All right. So there are 4 buildings here that are part of Toronto's history. They are now abandoned. I think they've been abandoned for quite a while. So there are 4 buildings here that are part of the former Dominion Wheel and Foundries buildings. One is a foundry, or one was a foundry. One was a machine shop. One was a warehouse, and another was an office building. And they were located at 153, 161, and 179 and 185 Eastern Avenue. So you can see that there's boarding up against the buildings, so we won't be able to see the street signs, or they're not street signs, but their actual addresses that I just mentioned, because we can't see can't see past them. So these buildings were built in the 1920s. And again, as I mentioned, I don't know how long they've been abandoned. So they were once abuzz with building railway equipment. Now this site is under heavy debate between heritage conservationists and provincial officials. We'll just cross the street here. And you can see the signage, Save the Foundry. So these markings are sort of all around this closed off area. Yeah, so these 4 buildings, they were listed on Toronto's Heritage Inventory. And in January of this year, by provincial government order, bulldozers began ripping into the Foundry building after an announcement about the need to build more affordable housing. So that's one building. Here's another, and I'm going to angle the camera up. I'm not sure how well you'll see it. Well, probably can see it better on the other side. Oh, there's a little hole here. Thanks, Catherine. So you can see. Thanks, Catherine. She's finding all these really good locations to look inside. So you can see they've already started ripping it apart. But then, so they started in January ripping it apart, and then last month, through heavy debate and protests, the provincial government put a hold on the deconstruction of these buildings. So even the machinery is still here. You can see the John Deere Caterpillar machine truck thing. So they haven't been working on this for probably about a month. And we'll just continue around. So here's another building. Sorry, folks. There we go. So you can see there is a real desire to keep these buildings intact. And I read this article from the Globe and Mail by Dave LeBlanc. This is where I'm getting this information from. So he wrote in great length about this. It was about a month ago, I think, I got the article. So Toronto's Heritage Inventory are provincially owned, but it used a ministerial zoning order to abrogate its own responsibility. So it's responsible for maintaining the history and heritage sites of Toronto, but then at the same time they can also change it. There was a Heritage Toronto 2012 plaque. I'm not sure if it was just on one of the buildings or all the buildings that stated it as a heritage building. And the sad thing is that it was removed when they decided to deconstruct these buildings. So here you can see, I'm going to post it up. You could see there where they were already starting the deconstruction of the buildings. Now you can notice here as well all these little hearts and things that are on the branches here. Local planning. Some say Save the Foundry, and there's from Ontario Builds. There's a sign there that says Eastern Avenue Affordable Housing. So here is more. So there's certainly a pull in both directions. I certainly understand the need for affordable housing, but it would be interesting to see if these buildings could be maintained, in part at least, to accommodate or utilize the buildings in a way that will also support affordable housing. These are history. These buildings are part of Toronto's history. These mills and foundries are, were once the bread and butter of our economy in Toronto. So one of the quotes that I read in the article, it said that all cities still need to move past the idea that mills and factories are too utilitarian to preserve. It's an important stage of development in our city and can be of historic importance. There's certainly some graffiti there. And it goes on to say a real piece of neighborhood heritage. And once these buildings are gone, they're gone. So that's one thing about tearing down history, is you tear it down and you'll never see it again, except for maybe in pictures. I would love to go inside and see what they look like. Wouldn't that be cool? That would be so cool. So this is sort of the dead end. So I think we've seen straight ahead there, I know there's fencing, and then there's a parking lot to one of the condos. And do you want to take a quick look down here and just kind of see where we're at? So this is, some of these buildings here were part of the Pan Am Games residential condos. That was in 2015. So you can see on some people's windows, if I angle the camera up, hopefully you can see it. But there's some certain, there certainly are residential supporters of keeping these historic buildings intact. Very cool. There's been a lot of change in this neighborhood. You can see, I'm not sure again because I don't have a zoom, but if I angle the camera slightly up across the street there, you can still see yet another condo under development. So just looking at these condos, they're all pretty new. They're all pretty new. And I can imagine how nice it would be down here in the summertime. There's a lot of space, even though a lot of it is concrete, but there are benches. Be a nice space to come and sit down and share some time with friends. And right on the creek, across the street there, not sure if you can see, but it's Bayview Avenue, and there's a beautiful park across the street. And here we are on Front Street East. Well, I think that concludes today's walk. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this walk. I certainly enjoyed having you with me. And I thank Catherine for joining me as well.
Thank you.
And if you can just see beyond, just a nice little goodbye there, you can see our, hopefully you can see this skyline, a part of downtown, and there's the CN Tower. All right, folks, thanks again. Have a great day. Boomer Girl Walking, signing off.